All right, let's talk about color mixing with acrylic paint. Today you're gonna have a handout that's blank, and make sure you write your name and period on it. It's super important because this is gonna go on the drying rack with everyone else's, and they will all look pretty similar. So we need to make sure that we have our name on it before we get started. We will be mixing some colors, our secondary colors here. On our color wheel, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And then after that, I want you to work on one tint and one shade. A tint is a color mixed with white, and you can see that this student slowly added white to get over here. And a shade is a color that's mixed with black, so starting with the red and adding a little more black until it gets very dark. All right, so let's get started. First, when you get your paints, you're gonna find already in the paints you have the primary colors, which are blue, yellow, and red, and you have white and black, which you don't need right away. The goal is to mix the secondary colors. Okay, so I like to get started by actually writing down the colors first, and that way I don't get confused. So if you start with the primary colors, you can write blue, skip one, red, skip one, and then yellow. After that, you know if blue and red, you mix them together, you get purple. If you mix red and yellow together, orange. If you mix yellow and blue, green. Now that's gonna just help me kind of organize myself. Now, you don't need water to get these paints to work. So I would keep a clean brush. You only need your water at your table to clean your brush in between colors. So the first way to get started is super easy. You just start by painting all the primary colors in. Now, for the sake of time in this video, I'm not gonna make you watch me do that, but you get the idea. I'm gonna put my red here, clean my brush, and put my yellow over here. Okay, now I'm ready to mix some of my secondary colors. For mixing, you should have some sort of tray to mix on or some sort of paper to mix on, and you can share these. I don't think I have enough for everybody to have their own, so maybe share with the person next to you or across from you. And the best way to do it is to just pick one color you're gonna mix. So for example, let's say I wanna mix green. I'm gonna start with yellow, and I'm just gonna move some paint into my palette. Always start with your lightest color, so yellow is lighter than blue. So I'm starting with my yellow, and I'm just gonna mix a little bit of blue in here, and you should see that green will come out. And here we go, got my green. Paint that in. It could probably be a little tiny bit darker. And for you guys, I would just add a little bit more blue to do that. To get my orange, again, I'm gonna start with yellow. Move some yellow over, clean my brush. Add a little bit of red. Darker colors are always much stronger, so just always add a tiny bit compared to the lighter color. And then you can add more if you need to. Okay. I think you guys get the idea. The last one to mix is the red and blue to make purple. Definitely start with the red and add just a tiny bit of blue. The next thing I want to show you guys is the tint and the shade. So for the tint and the shade, the way that I like to do it is just pick a color that you want to work with. And I'm going to put that color here first. So I'm going to start with blue, and you can make a tint out of any color. And then your goal is to slowly add to it until you get that really, really, really light blue. And there's a few ways I've seen students do it. You can add like kind of a glob of white paint here and add a teeny, teeny, tiny bit of blue and get your bookends and then work one way. So I'll show you what I mean by that. I'm adding just a tiny drop of blue to get my lightest color. This is a super light blue. And then from here, I know that I need to try to get the ones in the middle. So one way to do that is to keep adding a little bit more blue to your lighter color. So now I've got my second one. Oh, I'm over here, you guys. Sorry you couldn't see that. And then keep adding, so a little bit more. And then you will see that you will get, hopefully, closest to the color you started with. Now for the shade, you do the same thing. You start with one color. So I'm gonna start with my red. I'm not gonna finish this one for the sake of time, but here I'm gonna start with my red. I actually don't need it on the palette yet. And then I'm gonna slowly make it darker. Make sure you start with a good amount because you're using it up as you go along, so you don't wanna run out. Okay. So I'm gonna start with a little bit more. Now I'm gonna add a teeny tiny bit of black to it. And I'm actually on this one, I'm gonna just go in order. So I'm gonna show you the other way to do it, is to just go in order here. Teeny tiny bit of black to it. And you'll see it's just a little bit darker. Now the black is so strong, so just be careful with that. If you add too much, it's gonna change really quickly. Okay, and in the end, your goal is to get to the dark red, almost black here. All right, it is time for you guys to get started. Make sure at the end that these paintings go on the drying rack under where it says period 1. All right, good luck.